Yo, what's up? Okay. Time to drive home. Boom, 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 boom. I love getting to do a review after leaving Alamo Drafthouse because it gives me like more than like 15 minutes to talk about the fucking movie. Also, I just eaten, so I don't have to like pick up food or anything, you know, after a long day. Oh, so that really helps. So I just got out of seeing Y2K, a film that I saw almost exactly 9 months back. I saw it, I believe, March 10th, the Saturday night premiere at South by Southwest, and I left the theater fucking raving about it. It seemed most people were about mixed on it or didn't love it, but I left fucking loving it. Granted, it had like everything for me to love it. It's got a bunch of goofy ass kills, 90s music, Fred Durst, fucking Kyle Mooney, a good cast I like of people like Jada Martell, Julian Dennison, and Rachel Zegler. The kid Leroy is absolutely horrible acting, and he made me laugh. Even it's just got like everything I like up front. It feels like a cheap, like very low budget film with really good practical effects to it. Like it feels like any of the money that went to this film went to the practical robot designs and effects in the film itself. But yeah, just Y2K, what the fuck? what the fuck type of movie? It's like, it's amazing that this film got kind of greenlit and off production, because on a concept, this is like a stellar fucking concept for a movie like this, but as like an actual whole-based thing, it's like kind of messy. And I don't know, I think that's kind of what I love about it, is that it's just all fucking over the place at times. The first like 25 minutes are like just a meh version of Superbad. That's like the best way to describe that portion of the movie. Is like, this is like Superbad, but it just doesn't hit nearly as fucking hard as you would want. And then the middle act is kind of like This Is the End, when the chaos ensues in that movie, but it's all done with like 90s aesthetic and goofy like robot technology, like toasters and microwaves fucking killing people and shit. And then the third act is just like all out them trying to be like maximum overdrive with like Adult Swim aesthetics throughout the movie. Like the computer system in this movie, like the mainframe that's like causing everyone to die in this movie, is just like, it feels like something out of Adult Swim. Like it feels like a Xavier Renegade Angel fucking joke the entire time it's on screen. If you ever watch Xavier Renegade Angel, stupid shit like that. And I don't know, I just kind of fucking vibe with it heavily. I will admit, this time, seeing it with a crowd of 2,000 people, a lot of the crowd being just like slightly drunk and like super in the mood for that kind of movie. You're here at a film festival, it's exactly what you're here for. Seeing it with a crowd of only like 7 or 8 people at an Alamo Drafthouse, even though Alamo Drafthouse is the place to see it, it certainly just does not hit nearly as fucking hard as it does with a gigantic packed crowd, you know? But I still had a lot of fun with it. I think seeing it at like a film festival with everyone like that got rid of some of the flaws. This time I like 100% could pick up on the flaws throughout the movie. And this is going to be a spoiler discussion because, you know, the movie's fucking out. And if you want to see my other review of it, it was basically very simple. I just talked about how much I loved it, and it was probably my personal favorite film at South by Southwest. I did a video ranking all 24 films that I saw at South by Southwest, and it was just personally my favorite. Sitting here now, like thinking about it, the movie that there's actually 2 movies I definitely liked more, but I got to rewatch them because they're out. It's What's Inside and I Saw the TV Glow. Ironically, I saw the TV Glow, also starring Fred Durst, in an A24 movie that takes place in the 90s. I think that's kind of fucking awesome. To me, though, I found this movie just to be the like pinnacle of fun there. It was like a great movie if you're drunk, a great movie if you're not drunk. It's purely vibes. It's just like a really fun, dumbass movie that you kind of like hope would be a cult classic in a few years, because like, I will admit, the story is like pretty shitty, especially with the characters. When we left the theater, my friend was like, that was really fun. He goes, that had to have been the absolutely shittiest like lead character I have ever seen in a movie ever. It's like, it's kind of true, because it's like Jaden Martell's character in this movie, I believe he plays Eli. It's about basically, I should just know the plot before I get into the characters. The plot of this movie is like, hey, what if Y2K did actually happen, but instead of like stock markets crashing, power going out everywhere, shit like that. It was like, no, your technology is actually like here to fucking murder you. Like, your toaster is gonna fucking shoot out burnt toast so incredibly fast to your eyes, it's gonna like melt your face and shit. Stupid shit like that. Your Tamagotchi is gonna get attached to a bunch of wires, and that shit's gonna have a fucking drill on it, and that drill's gonna drill through your legs and your head, and it's gonna kill you. Stuff like that. It's goofy as hell, like that type of technology killing people, you know? The penultimate of Y2K being just the most goofy way you can imagine it. But I mean, it makes sense for, like, you know, a goofy horror comedy movie. That's like, it kind of fits that vibe perfectly. But basically, it's the Superbad plot, essentially, you know? Got the chubbier fat friend who's just like talking about all about fucking sex, you're gonna fuck. Yeah, you are. And then you got Jane Martell, who's like the awkward straight man Eli. And Eli and Danny, they're fun characters, especially when they're together, but when they're separated, which we will talk about, is less fun, especially for the rest of the movie. But you have a basic plot of that. He needs, Eli wants to kiss the girl of his dreams, played by Rachel Zegler. But, you know, she's kind of the popular girl, so, you know, she's like, she kind of fucks with him, but, like, she doesn't really hang out with him. He's, like, in his own kind of league, his own kind of group, and they don't really hang out a lot, so he's never going to get the chance. Well, it's New Year's Eve, and she is currently single and has broken up with her ex-boyfriend, played by Kid Leroy, and they call him Soccer Chris in the movie because he plays soccer. That's like his whole joke. It's like, you're Soccer Chris, instead of just calling him Chris. And basically, they go to the New Year's Eve party, and yeah, well, it seems like stuff might be about to go well, who really knows, but then, to make it even worse, Y2K starts happening, shit starts killing everybody in the house, and then it's like, oh, well, what the fuck are you gonna do now? And that's like the plot, essentially, is them just like, now we have to stop the robo-apocalypse. And getting into spoilers now, right at the party, Eli and Danny immediately go into the party. They show like all the different groups of people, the kind of music they listen to, the vibes that are in the room. You got like the Limp Bizkit kids, the goth kids, the rave kids, the classic jazz kids, you know, like you got all the different groups of people. And the fucking music goes out pretty quickly when they're there. But guess what? Eli has a fucking mixtape he made for Y2K. He puts that shit on, and guess what? Danny starts singing to it, the thong song, and all the fucking girls are into him. He gets to make out that night. Everyone fucks with him, but you know, Eli's the shy guy. He's not really fitting in with everyone like Danny is. And Danny just told an embarrassing story about him, about how he pissed in his Coke can once and made him drink his own piss. So, yeah, essentially, like, that's the entire fucking bit of that sequence. And then you get to the point where, like, Y2K starts happening, everyone's dying, and they have, it's these characters and, like, the bully stoner characters who are, Eduardo Franco, I forget the guy's name from Funny Pages, he's really funny, and then Lachlan Watson from the Chucky TV series, who plays Ash, like, a bunch of these stoner, they're the Limp Bizkit characters, is the way to describe them, essentially, in this film, and all of them are in this garage, and you know what, Danny, 25 minutes in the movie, Julian Dennison, who's easily, like, gets the most laughs in those first 25 minutes, and you're like, if he was along for the ride of the entire film, I don't know if it was shooting conflict, or they wanted that to be, like, the heart and soul of the movie, like, shock people, because, like, both times I've seen this movie, the first time I saw it, I was genuinely shocked. I'm like, no way, you just killed, like, the supporting character, like, the second lead of the film, essentially, like, it's like killing Jonah Hill off 30 minutes into Superbad. You'd be like, what the fuck do we do now? So yeah, he is genuinely killed off and does not come back, and I'm like, the movie is, like, so entertaining, and I fucking love it. But I can't deny, like, how much of this movie would be fixed if this character, they just had a way to keep him in the whole movie. Even if you killed him at the end for an emotional conflict, if you just had him in the rest of the movie, like, instead of just the first 30 minutes, it would have been so much fucking better. It would have went by so much quicker. The humor would probably land more. You'd have more jokes to tell. And it's so fucking weird that they made the decision to kill him off, because, like, I don't know, it's just weird. And a running gag with him is he keeps giving Jaden Martell a condom, because he's like, you're gonna lose your virginity. He's like, I'm the rubber fairy. I'm doing this for you, man. Like, he's fully there in support of his friend to have sex, even if it means he won't have sex. And, you know, Danny's like the absolute, he's the fucking ride or die homeboy type character, the guy you want on your side, you know, your wingman in all the fucking situations just to get laid. He's that character. And it's like, it's a bummer the wingman can't be there for the rest of the film, because Jaden Martell isn't bad. He's playing like a basic awkward straight guy, but he can't really do shit, because his whole character relies on, like, Danny and reflecting on him as a friend. And so you have Rachel Zegler, who's the popular girl, who's also pretty good in the movie, but she also doesn't really get much to do. She's the hacker who does eventually save everyone at the end of the movie, but their chemistry does not really connect at all, because her whole arc is just like, I didn't choose to be the popular girl, like, it just happened that way, you know? And then all the other characters are just like, man, fuck you, you know, you don't really care about us at all. And Jade Martell's like, you didn't hang out with me either, so he starts to have that kind of arc, you know, the characters splitting up at the end of the second act only to reunite in the third act, like, no, they're friends, and they do love each other, haha. So yeah, riddled with cliches, and it would be fun if, like, they played on the cliches. The way I'm talking about this movie, it may sound like I'm fucking, like, complaining, being like, this movie's really bad, and I have so many complaints, and it's like, these ideally would be complaints if I wasn't, like, entertained, because I love the aesthetic of the film. I consistently laugh throughout it. I find it to be like such awkward comedy. Like, a lot of these jokes should not hit, and they do. There are like jokes here that I feel like Family Guy like type jokes, where like that bit was like so awkward, and it like holds on it for 5 seconds waiting for the audience to laugh, and almost because you don't laugh, that's kind of what makes it funny. Like, there's a point when Fred Durst comes into fucking play in this film, and they play break stuff, and they're all just destroying shit. And one of the nerdy characters, like, breaks something. And then Fred Durst just walks to him like, fuck yeah, high five! And it's just, like, an awkward 5 seconds. And, like, there's no tension or laugh there. But when it quickly cuts, it's like, oh, that was funny. Like, it's just, like, kind of shitty comedy, but done, like, pretty well. There are some genuinely funny jokes. There are some great 90s jokes. Probably one of the fucking best lines of the movies is being like, shit, you got me talking like Tipper Gore. That line's fucking great. Like, there are lines like that in the movie that are genuinely really fucking funny. Fred Durst's kind of being like a more like asshole version of himself, like being like ironically a version of Fred Durst. He's playing like the persona of Fred Durst rather than actually like being who he is, I'm sure, as a person. And that makes it like way funnier for his character especially. And I do like the supporting cast of characters. Kyle Mooney basically is like, I'm gonna be the comedic relief. Anytime, like, even if there's like a serious moment going on in the movie that we take time down, I'm gonna be the comedic relief. He basically plays this hippie stoner who works at a video store, who just loves smoking weed, taking pills, and doing shrooms. And he's just a fucking complete idiot. He's a complete fucking idiot. Garrett, he's a white guy with dreads, so, you know, it's Kyle Mooney playing the most, like, idiotic, dumb 90s stoner character he could play. And he's funny. He gets, like, a good chunk of laughs. Also, Eduardo Franco, when he is on screen, because he plays, like, such an asshole bully character, he's pretty funny, too. Eduardo Franco has the best death of the movie as well. He claims he's like, oh, I'm fucking amazing at rollerblading. Like, he goes, I almost could have, like, joined, like, the tournaments back then in the day. He goes, like, check this shit out. And they have a basketball hoop outside that's broken in half, and he's like, it's the rail of the basketball since it's broken off. He's like, I'm gonna grind it. And he, like, immediately does, like, a cool trick, grinds it, and then right at the end, he just fucking falls off, bangs his head, and dies. It happens, like, so quick that you have, like, no time to process it. And, like, that moment is really fucking funny. Like, easily the biggest laugh my friends got was probably his death. And it's, like, also a damn shame, because probably, again, I think Eduardo Franco and Julian Dennison are the funniest characters of the film. But it doesn't take away from all the other, like, cool aesthetic choices, the really fun kills. Like, I don't know, it's my vibe of a film. It's that kind of film that when it comes out on physical media, I'm gonna, like, put it on in the background so much. And, like, sometimes I am gonna want to watch it. It's that film when you get drunk with your friends, you're definitely gonna want to have on. Or if you're having, like, a 90s themed party, like, why not include it? It's like, I don't know. I fuck with Superbad. I fuck with This Is the End. And I kind of fuck with Maximum Overdrive and how bad it is. It has, like, the shitty Maximum Drive elements, and it feels like just a shittier version of Superbad. One thing about Superbad that really works, and since I'm comparing it to that a lot, is the Superbad has a lot of heart, and Y2K tries to have heart and kind of fails because it gets distracted. It's like, oh, are we being, like, really goofy and funny right now? Or are we at the point of the movie where we're trying to be very heartfelt and do something serious and, like, really take care with these characters, you know? Really feel bad for Eli because he lost his friend Danny. And I won't lie, like, when I saw this movie at South by, I, like, kind of teared up because I was like, no, not Julian fucking Dennison. Like, it genuinely made me sad. I almost teared up again this time. Like, I find that Julian Dennison is just so goddamn likable that it's like, I don't know. I would have been, like, kind of fucking upset if he had, like, if Julian Anderson, like, genuinely just didn't die, I would be fine with it, but him actually dying does make me upset, is kind of what I'm trying to say. It takes away just a little bit from the movie that you'd wish for tension. Now, there are a lot of funny moments that I'm, like, ignoring in the film, because I do think the film relies on cool practical effects and design, some good kills, and a bunch of laughs. That's, like, what holds you over, and it is fully vibes. It is just trying to be the most 1999 to 2001. There are some, like, references I'm like, that shit didn't really happen until like a bit later than 2000, but you kind of let it slide. But it fit that aesthetic pretty damn well with the music it played, the vibes it had. Like, AOL and AIM are obviously used a lot in this film, fucking obviously, and it can make for some pretty funny humor as well. I liked, even though he's like a pointless fucking character who gets nothing to do, I have to wonder how much is on the cutting room floor. It feels like there's like decent chunks missing in the film, possibly, because I was like, they got Mason Gooding in here for a role, and Mason Gooding, I was like, oh, he can be really funny. I've seen him be funny. He's also like one of the best parts of the Scream movies, like Scream 5 and 6. And I was like amazed. I was like, damn, he didn't get to do fucking like shit here, kind of, but every time he talked, it was like funny. He basically he plays a part of the Collective, which is like the stoner group of characters. He used to be an engineering major, is what they say, because he used to date Rachel Zegler's character Laura, who's like the hacker, the tech girl, even though she's also the popular girl. And every time he shows up and talks to her, he's just like, hey, Pookie, what's wrong? It's like, seeing Mason Gooding play a character that's so calm and just keeps saying, Pookie, is like, it's so fucking goofy, and it kept making me laugh. The way also, like, the second a giant robot creature that everyone's afraid of keeps, like, attacking them, and the second one of them walks into this, like, basement that they're at, he just, like, stops you, like, hey, can you give me a second? Goes into this back alley, and immediately beats it up and brings it in. It's like, hey guys, look at this. Like, so calmly. It's like so funny because like everyone else is getting murdered by these things instantly, and he picks up this gigantically fucking heavy piece of machinery so calmly. Like, there's like little bits like that, and a lot of background jokes that are funny. Whenever Laura is like hacking into the mainframe to figure out what the weakness could be of these robots, in the background you just hear all the stoner characters talking about Simpsons and shit, and the way they're talking about it is like so funny, and it almost comes off as like in the third person. Like, you have to watch the movie on your own to get that part's funny, but there's just so many like background one-liners that are funny. I love that the rest of the movie, anytime in the background anyone talks about Eli, they're just like, that's piss mouth. Yeah, what fucking loser, piss mouth. I always love when they add ADR, like fucking mean comments into the background of everyone just shitting on everyone. It always comes off as like really funny. I don't know why. I don't know. There's just something about the whole movie that I really fuck with. I like all the Limp Bizkit usage. There's quite a few Limp Bizkit songs in here, although mainly they use Break Stuff and Faith are probably like the big ones of the movie, if there were to be any. I do like that the condom in the end does technically save the day. It's stupid how it saves the day, but it's pretty funny that the condom that Danny gave Eli right before he died is technically the savior of the fucking day. As my friend did mention, though, Eli is fucking pointless and does nothing to save the day. Not really. He gives a speech. That speech completely fucking fails, so Fred Durst is like, I'll perform a song for everyone. Everyone fucks with the song in there. Because Fred Durst, the song, whenever the song ends, he performs Faith on stage. It happens to also be once the apocalypse is stopped by Laura and Eli. Everyone, the whole rest of the end of the movie is just like, Fred Durst, you're our fucking savior. And it jumps 5 years later at the very end of the movie, and you find out that Fred Durst is become like the senator. They also have a thing called Durst Industries, which is this new high-tech company. Like, everything is about Fred Durst, and he's like a complete fucking corporate sellout. And I'm like, that's a funny joke. Like, the idea that this guy saved everyone from Y2K is fucking Fred Durst. That's just how it's seen. Is pretty funny. I don't know. I find this movie so charming and cute. It feels like a movie I'd put on with friends. Like, it feels like a movie I would have made. Like, if I could make a movie, it would be something like Y2K. I've always said if I wanted to make a movie, even though it'd be kind of difficult, because juggling horror and comedy, people say, are the most similar genres. And it is true, because horror is, like, hard to get people scared. It's hard to get people invested in your concept initially. Like, what frightens people, what makes people uncomfortable, that kind of thing. And simultaneously, a comedy, it's like, it's subjective. It's like, what's going to make people laugh? What is funny to everyone else? And it's like, this movie has a hard trouble of doing, you know, both things and finding that right tone. But a movie, I've even said, like, I look back at videos that I made with like friends in high school and shit, and I'm like, dude, it feels like something we would have done. Like, if we had the budget, we would have made something like Y2K. I probably would have had it been a bit more polished. Again, the movie comes off as a little messy, but it means so much to me. I almost find like a great connection in this movie being pretty mediocre. It's like, I get why right now. Last I checked, I think it was when I left South by Southwest, and even recently when I checked, it was at like a 63%. But I checked the Rotten Tomatoes score this morning, and it was at like a 55. I think it was also like a 55 on Metacritic. So it's getting like straight down the middle reviews. It's either people like it, don't like it, love it, or hate it. You know, like it's all four quadrants that are making it this middle thing review, and that's completely fine. I don't think this movie's great. I even put on my Letterboxd video, like my Letterboxd review, like if I were to give this a rating, in some ways I would like to give it like a 3 out of 5, because it is very fucking messy, it is very fucking stupid, and not everything comes together as well as I would want it to. And in those ways, I'm like, it's probably like a 3 out of 5 film. But in my heart, it's like, I rated this like really high, and I'll get judged for it for saying all this shit. But I gave it like a 4.5 out of 5. I just find this movie to be so much goddamn fun. It's super up my alley again. And I think that in some ways can be as a negative to other people, because obviously some people are going to have complaints. They're not going to have the exact same opinion as me. But I'm like fine with fucking loving it and being one of the rare people who like genuinely loves it. I've seen reviews that are like, oh, I love you, Rachel Zegler, and they've given it like 4.5 and 5 stars. It's like, for those people who are just doing it for like the actor they love, I'll love to Rachel Zegler. I don't hate her. I know that people kind of hate her and she has some controversy on her. I don't really give a fuck. I think it's a stupid controversy, but whatever. I don't mind Rachel Zegler at all. I think that she's pretty cool in this film, if only she was given like a funnier role. Originally, I believe I read that Jenna Ortega was meant to play the role, which makes a lot of sense. I could see Jenna Ortega kind of fitting this role just slightly better. And the fact that it is like a horror comedy, it would make more sense. Also, I wonder if like that's why they got Mason Gooding. I don't know if they were cast around the same time, but it'd been like funny, like, oh, in Scream 6, you know, they're kind of together, and in Scream 5 they're together. So it's like, you know, put them in this together, you know, it makes sense. I don't know if that was the case, but kind of, maybe it feels that way. I'm now just like realizing that. But yeah, I enjoyed the fuck out of Y2K. I'm like seeing it again. Fuck, it's possible I might be seeing it 3 more times. I don't want to see it that many times necessarily, even though I do love the film, but I'm going again Saturday with a coworker. I think that they're gonna enjoy it. I'm gonna see it tomorrow actually with another friend. I'm gonna go see Night Bitch in the morning, and we're going to the Dallas to go to a mall there, and then we should be seeing a Y2K after. Then we're gonna go hang out, go shopping, get some dinner, and then we're gonna go see Interstellar in IMAX 70mm, which is the thing I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. But that's not until like 10:40 p.m. That's really late at night. But I am fucking pumped for Interstellar. Like very excited for it. So no doubt. Yeah. I almost want to say I don't have much else to say, but I kind of want to talk more about the movie. I feel like I've given my essential thoughts. I kind of want to go through like all the kills and the side characters, because the kills are pretty cool. I want to talk about the kills. Because there's some really, they're simple, but they're really fun kills. Like, very quickly at the house party, the first kill that we see is like off screen, but the way a character describes it is like they were having sex on this bed that like bends. It's one of the beds you can like troll, so how you lay on it. And the bed apparently launches the fucking guy into the ceiling fan, snaps off the ceiling fan, and a chunk of it like lodges in his head. And the effect of it being lodged in his head looks cool, but it's like so stupid to imagine. Like, if they showed that scene, I'm sure they did this off screen, because they're like, how the fuck are we gonna film this? Like a lodged piece going into his head, it would look so bad. Then the next kill is this little car rolls in, and it has like hairspray and a lighter, and the guy's like, dude, fucking bitch, I use gel. And then immediately the fucking hairspray sprays the lighter at him, and it fucking melts his entire face off. This one, everyone starts to freak out. Everyone runs downstairs. Or no, one person's getting killed by like, they're trying to shave their fucking beard, and someone's getting killed by like the fucking razor on it. Everyone runs downstairs. The VHS player has a fucking VHS of Varsity Blues inside. It like fucking hits the girl in the head and like gives her fucking like it has like a purple outline when it hits her. It's corny as fuck, but it kills her essentially. They just walk into the fucking kitchen, and there's a guy with a fucking blender on his dick, and it's just shredding his dick off. A guy is getting killed by the garbage disposal. And then Soccer Chris, played by Kid Laroi, who again can't act, but that makes all his lines really funny when he delivers it. Because all the people who like kind of can't act play dickhead characters. And it's like really funny when they're trying to be bullies because like, fuck you, who the fuck are you? It's really bad and like childish. It almost feels like a corny 90s movie. Like, you know that point in Scream, like the original, when they're all at like a Stu Macher's house party and everyone finds out that the principal has been killed and he's like, I think he's like hanging on the goalpost in the football field and everyone's like, we gotta fucking go, let's go see that shit. It's like all those characters are like so shitty 90s background characters, and that's what like everyone in this movie feels like. And they all wear parachute pants too, because like why the fuck not? But yeah, the way that Soccer Chris, Kid Laroi, dies is the fucking dishwasher opens up and it makes him fall, and then he falls headfirst in the microwave, which turns on to like popcorn mode, and it like burns his fucking head, essentially. It's just so fucking dumb. And then I mentioned the Tamagotchi that like drills through the chick's head, like the girl who was having sex upstairs, who the person she's having sex with died. She comes downstairs like in a panic, and then the Tamagotchi drills through her leg, and they make a running joke, and I thought this was like a fairly clever setup kind of gag, like foreshadowing. They start to say like, oh, she used to be a drug addict, she did ecstasy, and then they kept talking like, you know, that means that they did an x-ray on her, and that shows that she has holes in her head, because doing ecstasy can cause holes to appear in your brain. And how she dies is getting a hole drilled into her brain. So it's like, you know, it's like simple stuff like that, and they kind of set up other people's deaths too at a few points, and it's like pretty fucking funny. After that massacre sequence of everyone dying in the house, the way that Danny dies is there's a running gag early on that like Eli keeps forgetting his fucking backpack. He always leaves it, and then Danny has to be like, oh dude, don't forget, Satch, and he keeps throwing it to him. And so right when they're about to leave, they're in the garage, and the door, they hear banging at the door. But really quickly, so he can open the garage door, Danny goes to grab the backpack for Eli, and he's like, Eli, I swear to God, you would fucking forget this one for me. And then just like a giant robotic fist knife comes through the fucking door and just murders Danny. And you're just like, oh shit. For a minute, you're like, oh, he's probably gonna survive this one stab wound and shit. But like, no, it ends up being like pretty major, the stab wound, so he ends up dying. And it's like, it is genuinely a sad moment, like when you're just seeing these two friends who are the only people they have are each other, and you just have to watch like Eli lose the only person that he kind of fucking loves besides probably his parents. And it is a sad moment, and they play it effectively. And then it ends on like kind of a gag, because, you know, Danny is like, you can do this, and he gives him like the fucking Durex condom, and it's like, that's kind of funny, like just that gag of giving him the condom at the end. It's lighthearted and funny, but it's also like an emotional moment. You know, I enjoyed that moment. Then they all go they all go skating, biking, and they all different shit so they can get out of there. And I mentioned that Eduardo Franco fucking dies by trying to rollerblade on the railing of this basketball hoop and just immediately die. It is the best death of the movie. If you go see it, I would be shocked, even if I spoiled this moment, for you not to laugh. That death is so quick and so goddamn funny. Like, I didn't hear the audience laugh a lot at this movie. To be fair, it was a very small crowd. I did hear my friends laughing a decent bit, but the biggest laugh anyone got, and I heard the whole crowd of this one go, and during South by Southwest, it had laughs after it ended by like 30 seconds. It was the rollerblading death with Eduardo Franco. Such a stupid fucking scene. Really, some other kills in the movie. Garrett, who's the stoner played by Kyle Mooney, he keeps like using the, like, what do you call it, like the double sticks, the sticks that you would juggle the one on, and he basically is like, I'm about to like fucking elevate this shit up, and he takes like a shitload of pills and mushrooms, gets high as fuck, and he's about to fight this robot, and the robot immediately cuts off his arm. I did like laugh at the way he reacts to it. It happens very quick, where I think the line is just like, his arm gets cut off and he goes, oh shit, he goes, I don't like that. I really don't like this. And then he immediately gets his head cut off, but his head looks like a stoner's head, so when it like gets cut off and is looking at everyone and the head's cut off, it's just like the fucking dumbest face you can imagine. Like, some stupid shit like that would be in a dumb like B movie from the 80s and 90s. Like, in some ways, when I go to Dismember the Alamo at Alamo Drafthouse, it feels like a movie that, if it hadn't come out in 2024, say this came out like in 2000, and someone made it for a really low budget and was like, what if this is like what happened on Y2K and it was a low budget schlock straight to VHS type movie? This feels like the movie that would play, but you would have like a blast with. Although if it had come out then, they would try to have made it genuine horror, and the comedy would come from how bad it is. This movie like knows very well that it's very dumb and is a comedy, and slightly a coming of age film in some ways. I feel like that's like most of the kills. The other kill I can think of is the kid from Funny Pages is in this, and he ends up getting. Fred Durst keeps complimenting him because everyone says his raps, his like bars, and his rhythm is really shitty, and they keep making fun of him, trying to be like, oh, I like the underground independent MCs, you know? I don't fuck with like all the mainstream people like y'all do. And he tries to spit bars, but he fucking like kind of sucks at it. But Fred Durst tells him, he's like, you're really good, kid, you got skills. And Fred Durst gets distracted, and this fucking little robot that's shooting CDs out is about to kill Fred Durst, but he gets in the way and sacrifices his life for Fred Durst. And honestly, the kill looks pretty cool, like visually. The CDs like get lodged in his cheek and then his head, and like, again, the practical effects and the gores are simple, but like they're pretty good. Almost in some ways, they're not super gory that they could be PG-13, but also like they're like teetering on R-rated and PG-13. The only other reason this movie is R-rated is because of the language, the drug use. There's a bit of nudity. They show like a porno at one point. But like that's on screen, like almost, it's like if it had come out back then with a few cuts down here and there, it probably would have been like PG in the 80s. So, you know, something like that to consider. I believe that that's like pretty much all the kills. The way they stop the robots again is she's getting electrocuted trying to put this USB in to like take down the entire system, and that's when Eli's like, oh look, I have the fucking condom, so she doesn't get shocked. They put the condom over her arm so she can put the USB in. It's like, it's so dumb. And then he gets the girl of his dreams. Like, yeah, I wish, like, if Julian Dennison was there and he had been, like, the lead character or the guy kind of balancing everything throughout the middle and third act, I think this movie genuinely would be, like, a perfect movie to me. I do think in some ways this is a step down from what I thought when it was at South by Southwest, but I can't deny how much goddamn fun it is and how much joy a dumbass film like this even brings me. That I'm embarrassed to say, yeah, I'd probably still give it my, like, seal of approval, Zach's seal of approval, support this movie, 9 out of 10. If it is playing at a theater near you and you have a crowded theater playing it, I bet that would be really fun. Go check it out. I think it's such a vibe, and I do fuck with the movie pretty heavy for what it is. I do feel like under a different director and maybe like a few more touches up in the editing room and of the script, this movie could be like a fantastic comedy horror flick, but I think it's a good comedy horror flick that I just personally really fuck with. You know, there's those movies out there that aren't the best. You just kind of fuck with. Grown Ups is not a good movie. Doesn't mean I don't absolutely fucking adore Grown Ups, you know? And then Y2K kind of fits in that category in some ways. Wow, I've been talking about this film for a long fucking time. This is probably way longer than I thought it would go on for, but yeah. Fuck it, I support it. Go check out Y2K in theaters. Shout out Kyle Mooney. This ain't no Brigsby Bear, though. I saw Brigsby Bear this year because after I saw Y2K, I was like, I want to check out the film that he wrote and starred in, because I had always heard like a lot of buzz about Brigsby Bear. I think I tried to watch it the year it came out because I had heard buzz, and I just couldn't get into it, but I was also like 14. I feel like now that I'm older, I'm like, fuck, dude. Brigsby Bear not only is incredibly funny, incredibly charming, it makes me cry every time. It's one of my favorite movies in general. That movie's perfect. I fucking love that one. But I would like to see Kyle Mooney tackle some more films again. I think he could do some fun shit. Although I feel like the Y2K thing, it's like he can't do a concept like this again and better, you know? I do wish he could like have done other films first, and then maybe when he did Y2K, it would have been a more fleshed out, more fun, and just overall better made movie. But, you know, can't really complain. I still really fucked with the movie, and I hope people check it out. I don't know if it's going to make money at the box office or not. It is getting a wide release from A24. Weirdly enough, A24, hey, we didn't market Sing Sing a fuckload in theaters, but we're marketing they're trying to market the fuck out of Y2K. They're putting it in a way wider release. Because, like, I don't even think Sing Sing went to more than, like, 500 theaters, being serious. But this shit seems like, from what I read, I saw somewhere it's, like, 2,000 plus. It's like, this is actually going wide release. Perhaps that's because it is more of a mainstream feeling movie. It doesn't feel 100% like everything that A24 puts out, not the art housey independent type stuff like typical most of the time. And it does have like a well-known young teenage cast, so they probably think like, oh, we can probably get teenagers into the theater to go see it. You know, it's not just going to be like 40-year-olds who are like really fancy and are like, I really fuck with the tragedy of Macbeth. So good. yeah, that's my whole review. I pretty much got home. So, check out Y2K and let me know what you think about it in the comments below. And I'm going to be seeing Night Bitch, Interstellar, The Order. I have a lot of movies to catch up on. But that's it for now. Have a good night. Bye.